When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and that is right. We have tipped over 200, and we are on the home stretch to the end of the year here in 2024 on episode 202. And as you know, we've had some amazing guests lately on our show that have shared their brilliance. We've celebrated in episode 200. We had a little musical and some humor. And now today, I want you to think about 2025. What would you like to become in 2025? Do you want to become your own business owner and become an entrepreneur? Do you want to possibly transition and shift to a new career and climb the corporate ladder? What is bigger than you that you could possibly think of in 2025 that you could go after? Because today, Kamila, Gornia, and I are going to be talking about building something bigger than you. How do we build bigger than ourselves? You probably are asking yourself the question, well, Colleen, I don't know how to do that. Well, don't you worry, because today we're going to be talking about that on today's show. But before we get to Kamila, I would love to share and thank our sponsor of today's show, Ally Spine Center. And what sets their office apart from other offices is their focus and expertise in treating degenerative spinal conditions, including disc disease, bulging herniated discs, spinal stenosis, neuropathy, sciatica, pain, tingling, and numbness in the arms, hands, and feet, legs, as well as severe and chronic back pain and headaches. They specialize in corrective care, not just the treatment of symptoms. And they use physical medicine modalities in most cases. They do pre and post images and that are used to help determine the structural improvement of the spine. So if you know someone or if you're suffering from any of these, please reach out to them at allyspinecenter.com at 480-809-4700. If you are not in the Phoenix area and you want to be able to find someone in your area, please reach out to them at 480-809-4700, because corrective care is so much different than just treating the symptoms of, and they will be able to help you find someone in your area. All right, here we go. I'm excited about Kamila Gornia, the founder of Heart Behind Hustle, an evergreen icon. She's been supporting online coaches and course creators with marketing and sales for the last decade. She helped her clients scale by creating evergreen, scalable, and recurring business foundations so they can enroll sales without the need for sales calls, social selling in the DMs, or posting daily on social media, allowing to create true sustainability and freedom in their business. To date, her advice has helped over 25,000 entrepreneurs, which has resulted in over $2 million in revenue. Kamila, welcome to today's show.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Colleen.
Well, I know that a lot of individuals are going to be interested in hearing about how you have been able to come up with creating these opportunities for scalable and recurring business solutions without what we talk about normally is, sales calls and social selling. We would love to learn more about that. And I know having you here is going to teach so many individuals. But let's get back to the original building something bigger than yourself. When did that come up for you? And what was your approach? Like, there was a pivotal moment in your life where you knew that that was something that you needed to do. When was that moment? Take us back to that.
Yeah. So I have always been the person that just anytime I had a passion or interest in something, I just went ahead and did it. And that was with my photography business, my health business. And every single time I kind of approached it more from a perspective of, I think the easiest way to describe it would be like freelancer potentially, or like individual, right? Where it's like, I want to do this, so I'm doing this. And it was every single result that I achieved in my life or business was tied to the like actual manual actions I was taking. And there was a certain point in my business where I realized that I was feeling capped in the impact I wanted to make. So that's not to say that as personal brands, we can't make impact. Obviously, there's a lot of personal brands that are incredibly impactful. But for me, I wanted to have something bigger than just here's me, here's my face, like you follow me because I'm Kamila and I'm saying these different things. I wanted people to remember the message. I wanted people to be enrolled not just in an offer, but in a certain way of like living a life, of a certain um drive that we all have. I kind of had this feeling inside that I was like, I feel like if I continue just talking to people online as myself, there's only so much I can do. There's only so far I can go. So that's actually when I started Heart Behind Hustle, because before I was a personal brand, my photography, my like everything I was doing. And same with when I was coaching in the beginning, it was just Kamila Gornia. That's just kind of what I did because that's the usual thing to do. But yeah, I had this vision where I'm like, I don't want to be the one that's always putting the time into it. I want to be able to scale. I want to be able to make sure that the words I'm saying, the message I'm sharing can stand on its own 2 feet versus me having to always like say it manually or dish it out personally. So that's kind of
Yeah,
where that
I love that. I love that. And so, um, from the rebrand, have you been consulting and coaching for your entire career, or did you ever work for another company?
I did work for in marketing companies beforehand. So I did social media management, particularly like during college, after college. That was my main career path, and it came because of my previous online background with my like other. I don't call them businesses; they're more like side hustles because I didn't really think I could have a business, even though it's what I did. But yeah, so that's kind of where that started, and yeah, from there it's just like let's do something bigger.
Yeah, I love that. So you were for a while just as your brand, as you mentioned, and then you created the heart behind the hustle. And what does that mean to you, heart behind the hustle? Because we know that there's, I guess it's how you define it, right? Because someone could define it as hustle. I define it as just connecting and building relationships with people. It doesn't feel hustling to me. It feels
Yeah.
very natural and communicative, and I'm inquisitive and curious. So tell me a little bit what heart behind hustle means to you and your community.
Yeah, so this actually brings me to a good story that I think will illustrate this as well.
Yeah.
When I was still working in a marketing agency, I was starting to take on clients for my own business, and I remember speaking to a potential client that I saw their website. I was like, I really liked what they had to say. I liked the story that was on the website. I liked everything about the vibe and the brand. So I was very like looking forward to speaking with the owner.
Mhm.
And I remember this so clearly because I was doing it during lunch break at my job, like getting on the phone, talking to this owner. And I asked him, like, okay, so what's your vision? Like, where would you like to take this brand? Because I can see there's the communication that was listed it was aligned with how I like to do things. So I was curious where that came from. And what he said to me was, I don't care what we say. I don't care what we do. I just need us to make more money. I'm like, okay, cool. And my excitement and passion went like, oh, because that's when I realized I'm like, okay, so there's more than just, I just want to help people make money or I just want to help people market themselves. To me, that's when I realized the value aspect was so important. And that contributed to Heart Behind Hustle because I don't want to work with people who just wanted to make money no matter what, no matter the,
Mm.
the how they're doing it, if they're being sleazy or pushy or like aggressive. Like, I don't want to deal with people like that because it's
Yeah.
just a different mentality. So Heart Behind Hustle to me is people who want to actually make an impact in the world. They want to make a difference in whatever way that looks like. It doesn't necessarily have to be an altruistic type of purpose, but
Yeah.
it's that the message that you have to share or the offer that you have, you believe it actually helps people at the end of the day. And you want to make more money because as a result of making more money, you get to help more people. And that for me was the missing ingredient between like what I was doing before. And that conversation with that one person gave me all the clarity where I'm like, okay, this is what it is. And also creating the brand, Heart Behind Hustle, that allows for people to kind of disqualify themselves when they hear the brand versus
Yeah.
if you just hear my name, it's like, well, I don't know this chick, so I don't know what she's about. And just having the word heart in itself, it's not going to attract people that are not interested in
Yeah.
the heart aspect, if you will.
So what is the blueprint and the philosophy then behind heart, behind hustle? So what is that? Now let's go behind the scenes and working with your clients. You talk about no need for sales calls. Is that no need for connecting with individuals like, once we meet them at a networking event and then we have a follow-up call with them because we just want to get to know them better? Is that what you're considering a sales call? Are they doing it in groups where they're inviting people to come and learn more about what that individual does, and then that's how they're able to present how they do what they do? What is that? So, like, give us a little dip to understand what heart behind hustle is and how you're able to help continuous individuals be able to produce the income without having posts, without DMing anyone, without having any sales calls.
Yeah. So that all comes back down to thought leadership.
Sure.
So at the root of everything that we do and I help my clients with is it's not and this is what resonates with my clients, right? Because it's not that sales calls aren't effective. They are. It To me, the problem was that it was taking too long and it was preventing people from sharing, like having a broader reach with their message. Like that was the biggest thing. So to me, we approach it more from a perspective of pull marketing versus push marketing. So having people reach out to you because they already have seen what you have to say and they're intrigued. So in order for somebody to say, I'm intrigued by what you do, tell me more, in order for them to see that, they need to see content first. So
Sure.
this is where, and not just any content like random reels or TikToks or whatever, it's thought leadership. It's how do you think? What is your philosophy? What is your approach to achieving the outcome? Or what's your value set? How do you see the world? All of that allows people to kind of get into your world. And then the conversation is necessary because the person is pretty much sold on who you are and what you can help them with. So the process to the sale, if we were to look at it, maybe a little bit longer, but it feels to me and to my clients, I mean, the most important thing is that we're not burnt out and like overloaded and trying to convince people. That was like the biggest thing, that why I wanted to stop doing sales calls, because
Yeah.
I remember once somebody jumped on a call with me and she's like, okay, why should I work with you? Convince me. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it. To me, again, it was just another moment that
Yeah.
felt like a hard no. Like, I don't want to have to convince people that I'm good at what I do. I want you to go and see for yourself, make a decision for yourself based on what you've seen me create and post. And we can talk about the details if it's a good fit for us and stuff like that. But I wanted my content to lead and I wanted that to bring people in.
I love that. That we are so aligned on that, because you call it the heart behind the hustle, and I call it that we attract the right clients because of how we show up, because of how we lead, because of what we're saying and the content of what we bring to our pages or our social feeds, or workshops that we do, or on being on a podcast like today and you being here. It is, I believe we reach thousands, if not millions of people that way versus that one-to-one. But I do in my soul, from my heart, enjoy and love getting to know people. And so my conversations, that when I tell someone like, hey, why don't we jump on a call together to get to know each other better? My only reason for doing that is because I'm truly curious and want to know more about what they do, so that my brain starts moving to figure out like, who can I connect them to that would be a benefit for them right now in their business that could help them, or an organization or something I could invite them to that I know is going on online that I've found benefit to. So I do love that so much. And so, Kamila, you have definitely pulled on my heartstrings with that one, as thought leadership. I think it is so important for us to not do what the gentleman said, which was, I just need more money. I don't care what we do, how we sell it, what we say. It matters. And I have you found this, Kamila, that working with women, they're very much heart centered,
Hmm.
about what they do, and they're out there to make a true difference and an impact, and they are leading from their heart in their conversations versus, I find, and this is not sexist either way, but I found males they're not driven emotionally like that. So it's really about the numbers. And I mean, my husband's included in this in our businesses. The first thing when I brought a new marketing director to him was, she said, what is your objective? He said, make more money. I said, that is not okay. First of all, I don't even know why we had this meeting with my husband. That's not the objective. In the end, it does become the objective. The reason why you scale a business, the reason why you grow a business, the reason why you buy a business, it's to make more money. I get that. But the how and the way you go about making that money is what matters, and how you attract the right people. And I think that's
Right.
what you're saying, right?
1,000%. Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000%. And just to reference, you mentioned you really enjoy jumping on calls and stuff like that. I think that's amazing. And, for anyone that wants to do that, keep doing it. The biggest thing is that a lot of times people just teach sales calls, like just jump on the call and sell the person. Like that's really what it is. So the
Yeah.
intention is quite different.
Oh, yeah.
And that creates more like pressure for the creator as well.
It
Which is
does. Yeah. No,
so
I wouldn't
important.
want to do that. It's very sleazy
Mhm.
to me. It
Yeah.
feels very sleazy. And I believe that we can enroll people through them being attracted to us being the right person for them. When someone gets on the phone and says to you, convince me that you're the right one, it's like, no, I don't have to convince you. You are the one that has to convince yourself that I'm the right person for you. And if you can't do that, then we're certainly not aligned, and we're not the right choice for each other.
Exactly.
But I always, if someone does ask me on a phone call and say, I would love to learn more about your business consulting. Can you share that with me? And I share my process and how I work with individuals. And then I'll start going into asking them questions to understand a little bit more. And if I feel like they're a right fit, I always tell them to ponder on it and pray about it. And they're going to know if we're the right person, right? If it's the right timing for them, if I'm the right person for them. And usually I hear back from them. They'll say, I woke up at 2 a.m. and got my answer. And it's beautiful, because that's what I want. I want it to be the right fit versus forced fit.
Right.
Which is what you're saying. So this is so great. What type of client do you work with? So let's get that out there now, so that we can clear that for someone who might be thinking, ooh, I really like Kamila and her approach. Who
Yeah.
would that
So
be ideal?
I'm pretty specific with who I tend to work with. I usually work with online coaches, course creators, or online service providers. And the online aspect is important because that's where all my experience is. So I always make sure to not, I don't ever want to do things with clients that I haven't done before,
Sure.
essentially. So, because there's other people that can do a better job with that.
Okay, online service providers, course creators, great. And male or female, does that matter?
I love that you were mentioning your husband and yourself. I
Yeah,
work with both, but 95% of everyone that buys from me tends to be a female. And
yeah,
it's probably because of what I say and how I say it.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. You attract the right people, and it doesn't matter the male or female. It's just the person that's looking for you, for sure. And where can we find you? So where should we start following you on social media? Where can we find you online?
Yeah, so I'm probably the most active on Instagram. So that's at Heart Behind Hustle. And obviously, you can check out my website as well, heartbehindhustle.com.
Okay. Heartbehindhustle.com and Heart Behind Hustle. on Instagram. And Kamila, let's share with the audience what has been maybe a book that you've read over this year, or a quote that you've read. What has been the biggest influence for you in your life this year?
I'm going to show you this book. I wouldn't say that it's like impacted me this year, but I always think back to this book. It's called Long Story Short by Margot Leitman. Have you heard of it? So this is an amazing book for anyone who wants to be better at storytelling, for your business, for any kind of career, pretty much anything.
Okay.
And it allows you to find very specific, like, micro stories in your life that you can then, for me, obviously I'm a marketing person, so you can take those stories and turn them into marketing, which is so much more captivating than just, like, I don't know, saying something directly. So this has been a game changer for me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us and being here as a guest on the podcast. And I just want to remind all of our listeners, we've said this 202 times this year, that you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that's ever going to be. So what year are you going to wait till to build something bigger than yourself, to do something bigger than yourself, to take that leap and really get out there and scare yourself a little bit? Having coaches alongside of you like Kamila, Gornia, is essential when you are taking this big of a leap. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about deciding that you want to create the life that you're looking for and not allow it to happen by accident. So Kamila, thank you so much for being a guest on today's show. And thank you, listeners, for your loyalty and listening and learning from all of our guests that we've had on throughout the last few years. And until next time, don't forget, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.